Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Gal Swisa Cohen, and this is the Israeli Bond. We are in part 2 in the very fascinating conversation with my husband, Dagan, which is the senior emissary from the Jewish Agency delegation in Long Island, and also the director of the Randy Wolbo-Malinsky Center for Israel at the C. Jacobson JCC, a role that he started and brought our whole family here 3 years ago. And it is a 3 years role, it's a 3 years position, meaning that in 1 month, we're gonna go back home to Israel, and we'll close this episode in our life. And as I said in the first episode, so first of all, if you haven't listened to the first episode, please go back and listen to it. Dagan tells a little bit more, shares a little bit more about his life and his childhood and all the things that made him who he is. And but I felt that this is a very, very good opportunity to really sum up this episode in our life, but basically in your life, the episode of being a shaliach. And I will start with, the most burning question that people usually ask us, before they come here, or after they hear that you're a shaliach. What does it mean to be a shaliach of the Jewish Agency? What is the role of a shaliach? Start with general, then explain the role of the shaliach here in Long Island.
It is a good question because it's the truth is that is varied between different communities, different places. Basically, as a shaliach in Long Island, you have two main jobs. One is connecting with the community and the leadership of the Jewish community. And the second is managing the Israeli delegation, who works all over the Long Island community. There's 10 of us here. We're the biggest delegation in North America, which is amazing. When you put in context that there is between 300 to 400,000 Jews on Long Island, it's really nothing. But we're trying to do the best we can. And the essence of it is to being a shaliach, meaning that you would hope that a lot of the things Israel-related will go through your channels, and you will have an impact on how they would look like, or what would they be. And obviously, Long Island is a huge island, and Long Island connection, relationship with Israel was much before shlichut was here, or before I was here. But I try to be meaningful in those intersections, in those parts, and be there for the community. Not need to say it, as better than I am, this is one of the most amazing Zionistic communities the world has to offer. And our life here was...
Long Island.
Long Island, not...
Like the Jewish community.
Not New York as a whole, Long Island.
Jewish community in New York is beautiful, but Long Island community...
Yeah, we're talking about our own small bubble. So I could do both. And I was privileged enough to be able to do both, especially in the context that we came here a month and a half before October 7th. So that what we try to do, bring our Israel to those conversations, those intersections, and those decision-making that we had to have.
So, okay, it sheds a little bit more light. Now, moving forward after our last conversation, talking about your life, what shaped your life. So I wonder what brought you to decide being a shaliach. Was it something like that you always dreamt of doing? Did you ever knew that there's shlichim before you came here?
Never dream about that, about such a thing. When you're coming from a small community in Israel, as we discussed before, you never imagine you can be part of the big world. Like the big world was Kiryat Shmona. And then the big world was Haifa. Like I came from a very small community. Never imagined, to be here. I've been working with Jewish communities in the past 10 years in different capacities. And I was privileged enough to see strong communities like North America and also communities who used to be strong, like Europe, and not anymore. And when the opportunity came, I realized that it's part of being a shaliach. It's part of who we are and who I am. And it's another way to give to our people. And that strengthening connection and being that bridge between Jewish community in Israel and Israel, it's one of the most important things we can do. Again, little did we know what's going to happen and 8 months after we were chosen. But
Exactly. Little did we know. So I want you to go back to exactly 3 years ago, July 2023, 1 month before you came to Long Island. What were you expecting from this role? What you visioned, how you visioned your life here?
It's a good question. I expected to be meaningful. I knew about the community. I knew it's a very supportive community. Back then, again, how to remember, it was very challenging, not even more, but to bring Israel to the world.
Why?
Because of the judicial reform and the protest within the Israeli streets. And we all thought that that's what we're going to face.
What exactly you thought you're going to face?
My mission, the way I see it, and I'm like that as a human being, I'm a moderator. I'm in the middle. I always try to see both sides. I always try to assume that both sides want the good for a common goal, and I really understand them. And I felt that my mission is to be able to explain Israel and bring to the states what happening in the Israeli streets that they're not seeing in the news. That is not one-sided. That there's not right versus wrong. There is different sides wanting, the big goal is what's good for Israel and see different paths to get there. This is one side of it. And the other side is that I was hoping to be able to connect the communities. Long Island is not one Jewish community. It's about 15 different Jewish communities. In a way similar to regional councils in Israel where I came from. And again, going back to our last conversation, my very strong belief that working together is stronger than separate, I was hoping I could do something in connecting those dots and be that bridge that not only connect Jews to Israel, so connect communities to themselves in the States. But again, I was very modest. I didn't really know what I'm coming from. And I was hopeful in a way and excited for this adventure. But again, little did we know.
Yeah. As we said, family adventure.
Yeah.
We moved the entire family, me, Yarden, our daughter. So we moved here August 2023. And one more question before we touch upon October 7th. But which challenges did you thought you're going to face?
A lot of personal challenges.
What do you mean?
Being an immigrant, which is a hard experience, and not have a supporting system. You were pregnant back then. And again, I'm from a small community, like moving to this big country. This is one thing that was on our minds. And the professional side, I think in a way, a shliach, you don't have a lot of pressure. Because in a way, which a place I do not like to be, you're nice to have. And if you're not going to be that good, so what? Like communities and JCCs will keep roll and keep do whatever they do and they do not need you. And as a shaliach, I think it's a bigger question whether you can have impact or not. But the shlichim that are quiet and not doing much, it's pretty easy to just, drift or just flow in that role. Again, places I hate to be. I do not like to be. It's nice to have.
So you were afraid that you'll be like a nice to have.
No, I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel the pressure to do big things from necessarily the community, but I have expectation for myself to be meaningful. I didn't know yet how it would look like, and learning a community is not a week. It takes time. So I think professionally, I told myself, come, learn, see what's out there, and seek for the opportunities, just like I always do. And I had a lot of faith in us, in my ability to adjust, and the fact that I will find the places to be meaningful.
You thought that you might face walls or like people that would not want to communicate with you because you're from Israel, even though they're Jewish communities?
No, I thought people would not like to communicate with me because of me, not because of Israel, honestly. Like because of who I am or because the way I will gap these culture changes or differences.
You thought you were too Israelis to...
Yeah,
bridge this gap?
Oh, yeah. Experience show that I'm too Israeli. But because I'm Israeli, again, I've known something about Long Island when I came, and I know it's a community that it's going to open doors. It's not going to close them, the fact that I'm Israeli, which it did.
Okay. So now we're ready to move forward to only a little bit more than a month after we arrived here, October 7th. There's no episode in this podcast that I'm not talking about October 7th because this podcast is about Israel, and the past 3 years are all affected by October 7th. So can you take us back to your experience from October 7th? And how things unfolded in shlichut.
Before going to the story, and again, where we were, and my cousin, and like there's a personal side to it that I think people heard, and I can repeat that. I want to say something bigger. When I educated seniors, 12 graders, before they finished their 12th year, I told them that what difference teenaging between adulthood is the making decision. The way that from now on, nobody's going to make the decisions for you. You're not going from grade to grade. You need to make decisions for yourself. And that's what being an adult means. And it's hard. Where you're going to work, where you're going to live, where you're going to marry to, what you're going to do in college, in the army, whatever. You need to make your own decisions, and then you need to follow them. And usually the one who will suffer will be also you. And I talked in the previous episode about choices I made during my life when I wanted to be meaningful. And after October 7, we're facing the same choice. First personally, like us as a family and me, and our delegation. I came here, we flew here on August 13th. Until August 10th, I did reserves. And I was sure, and you were sure, that the first thing happened in Israel. I'm on the first plane, going to my soldiers, to my people, do what I've been trained to do for 15 years, right? Pick up my rifle and go fight. And be with my brothers and sisters from my battalion. Life was clear until October 7 in many ways. And after when October 7 happened, we were upstate. Amit woke us up at 1 a.m.
Like we were on a trip. It was a holiday here.
Holiday. I went into operation mode and I realized I need to go back to the island. So I took the first flight back. During that time, you've learned that my cousin died, Avid Sidon, fighting terrorists at Gaza envelope. But I had 6 kids, Shinshinim I'm in charge for, and I had Amit. And we knew we need to face a decision. And I got all of them together at our house on October 7th evening. And I told them, if you want to go home, that's fine. Like we need to decide whether we're staying or we're going home. Because Israelis, when there's war, we want to be home. That's our DNA. It's weird. Nobody will understand that. When war happens, Israelis want to be home with their families. But I told them that if we choose to stay, we're going to do everything we can in order to be meaningful and support our country the best way we can. And we all unanimously decided to stay. And I think in many ways, this decision shaped what follows. Because us as a delegation, and you joined, obviously, did everything we can to be meaningful. So we spoke on every stage. We met every people who wants to meet. We answer any question. We wrote things. We work with the kids. We continue our day-to-day lives, even though the news from Israel are not getting any better for any of us. And I personally continue with this, probably the biggest dilemma of my life. Where do I belong? Do I belong here on the island as the senior Shaliach, work with the Jewish community and be that bridge? Or I need to be in the reserves where I'm not so much needed because there was a lot of people coming, but this is where my heart is. And we had a lot of arguments and going back and forth about that. And I think I want to jump on 4 planes, and I decided to stay, which again, probably going to haunt me for the rest of my lives, but it is what it is. And I think that pretty soon I realized that October 7th, tragic as it was, created opportunities for us here on the island. Because if this island was supportive of Israel before, now people really wanted Israel. And they wanted the connection. They wanted the relationship, and they wanted the conversations. And we decided we're not going to say no for anything. Again, from talking in houses to big stages. And we haven't said no, not me, not my shinim, not anyone, not you. And I think it opened a lot of doors for us on the island. It showed our value to different communities and different organizations, and allow me to do what I know best, which is connecting people. And starting the formation of the Long Island Jewish Coalition and bringing more juniors, shlichim, that post-army service, because the need was big. And then, again, like any deal, if both sides wanted, if there's a why, there's a how. So we found a way. And I think that I've learned again, probably relying on everything I've been through in life, to use challenges as opportunities. And I did it with COVID in Israel. I had like this vision, and COVID created the opportunity, and then I made it happen. And I think the same applies with October 7th here. So that's what we're doing.
So you haven't experienced a lot the role of the Shaliach before October 7th, because we said it was only a bit more than 1 month after we arrived here, or like the head of delegation, or what's the role of the delegation in general. But from what you did learn, the little that you learned before, do you think that the role of the Shaliach and the entire Israeli delegation has changed since October 7th?
It hasn't changed. It's enhanced. It's got stronger and more needed. And I think that we needed to adapt to the needs and to, like, we became speech givers. Like, we all went to different areas to give speeches.
Which was not part of
part of anyone's life before, especially not in that capacity. We were needed to face much more personal challenges. Like, you're getting terrible news from Israel, and then you need to go face a class. You go teach, educate, go to a meeting. I think I took it to a different place, again, because who I am and the things I'm interested in, again, which is building coalition, connecting people, and so forth. But, you say that if you want to be good at war or in emergencies, you have to train when it's not an emergency. So I think in many ways, the 10 years that were before us prepared us for that moment. Like, we could not have been so meaningful without the 10 years of shlichut before us that built all the infrastructure and the relationships and the connections and set the ground for us to be as meaningful as we were.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, just like to give the background, you were the fifth shaliach here, so the shlichut was already 9 years before you came. You came on the 10th year, right?
Yeah.
Is this correct? So you said like that. The 9 years before built the shlichut, so that when you came and October 7th erupted, so everything together made this role very meaningful, and open more doors. Have you faced also pushing back from some of the communities here? Like, because we all know that October 7th happened in Israel, then October 8th here at the States, the Jews of the world basically were affected from everything in Israel. So I wonder if you also experience it here.
October 8th, Long Island is just an unbelievable community. So October 8th, Jews, or October 8th events in the city. The only thing they made is making Long Island agencies, organizations, and community want to be more connected, more resilient, and stand stronger together. And they didn't need me to do that. The speeches on Hanukkah of 2023 was about put your menorahs on the windows because we need to be proud and resilient, and we're not going anywhere. They didn't need us. And I used to tell the Jewish communities that I met that they tend to think that Israel is a resilient country and Israelis are resilient. And I told them, guys, we're here after 3,000 years, 5,000 if you want, people trying to annihilate us all over. You're here. It's a Jewish thing. It's not an Israeli thing. And we're all doing whatever we need wherever we are. But you haven't stopped going to New York, to Manhattan. You haven't stopped putting your menorahs outside. You haven't stopped wearing your Magen David. You're not less resilient than anyone else in Israel. It's just the reality is changing. And I think we were privileged enough to live in a very resilient community. The setbacks or the pushback that I was getting is in two places. One, people asked me to stop. I told them running like a headless chicken. People who cared about us and about me and said, you need to rest. And I told them, listen, if I'll stop, I'll collapse. Like part of my defense mechanism system was not stopping, because then you need to face, by that time I lost another cousin and friends, and the terrible things happening back home. The second was that I brought some unorthodox ideas, like connecting all the community together, or spending a lot of time as a shaliach in different parts of the island that shlichim before me didn't do. And it was weird. It was weird because organization used to work in silos, and then you're bringing this coalition idea or connecting us every week, or spending a day a week different agencies. And it was weird at the beginning. But I didn't get pushback. I was lucky enough to have managers and supervisors who were challenging me, but didn't cut my wings and have faith in me and let me do my own thing with asking me the hard question. Are you using your time wisely? Are you doing what's need to be done? Do you feel meaningful? And help me navigate along that path. So yeah, that was what I felt.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of things before. What I want to tap upon, you mentioned that you were able to go to this agency, and basically, and we're talking about it a lot, that the role of a shaliach here is very special inside the Jewish community, in the sense of, even though the Randy Wolbe-Melinsky Center for Israel sits at the C. Jacobson JCC, one agency here, the shaliach is not working only inward to the JCC, but look outside and actually gives service for the entire community, meaning that you can be at C. Jacobson JCC, then in Mid-Island or in Suffolk Y JCCs. You can be in synagogues or other temples, or even different community, different organizations, right? So basically, what have you learned from this experience?
It's unbelievable. This is the only model like that exists.
Like the other shlichim, like in other communities, they're not working like that?
I would say, like, again, you interviewed here David Black, and then Michael Schlank, who succeeded David. What C. Jacobson JCC is doing to Long Island is one of the most altruistic, meaningful things someone can do. They took upon themselves, part of David's vision, to be the home of the shlichut. But as you said, we're serving the entire island. And it's not something they needed to do or had to do. And they're spending a lot of resources, not only financial, but also time, caring, for all of us, year after year. And it's unbelievable. As you said, most of my colleagues are either other federations, if they're regional, or local. So work in Manhattan JCC, for example. It needs to serve Manhattan JCC. It's not working with the entire Manhattan region. So they have partners who they are serving. And Long Island is very unique in that sense. And again, it's evolved with the years. It allows us to be very meaningful, because we didn't need to worry or justify every step we do. We had the back of a very strong agency behind us, and people who believed in us and what we do, and were there to open doors if we needed them to. So in that context, Long Island is very privileged. And I would even say, furthermore, we're working as a delegation. Like, we have a delegation of 10 who works together as a group, as a family. Doesn't exist other places. And it's all thanks to C. Jacobson JCC and what they're allowing us to do, being the home of the Israeli delegation. And I can talk about them and what they do for an hour, because it's really unbelievable and remarkable.
Yeah. That it's very unique that one agency decides to take charge of this mission of bringing Israel, but bring it to Nassau County, Suffolk County, we say the Jewish community here, but it's not one Jewish community. I don't know, it's like
15.
15 Jewish communities. I think it's like hundreds of Jewish communities.
You can spread it as much as you like.
You can get it as, yeah. So that actually, that leads me to a very big project that you did here. I don't know if it's a project, but like if you can elaborate a little bit more about the Jewish Coalition of Long Island. Can you elaborate of this idea?
Yeah. November 2023, I said that the Shaliach wants to be the point person for Israel-related issues. And I was already after like a month of speaking almost in every stage possible. Thank you for allowing me. So I got more and more questions. Okay, we gave money, we gave supplies. What's next? And once I realized I get those questions from 5-6 different organizations, I told myself, because I like bringing people together, A, I have no idea. B, let's brainstorm. Let's talk together. And I saw there's a need. So I sent an email out and said, let's come together. Let's meet at C. Jacobson, JCC for this and that. 11 organizations came.
Which is a lot, right?
Amazing. But as we talked, we realized how big the gap is between the Jewish agencies working on Long Island. Hey, how much there are, whether it's JCCs or branches of bigger organizations like APAC, AJC, ADL, Stand With Us, and so FIDF, and so forth. And now, not enough, they're working together, sometimes stepping on each other's toes, and all want to do good things, and all have one core goal, right? 2, supporting the Jewish community and stand with Israel. So we realized there's an opportunity. And we started one conversation, then we said, it's not enough, we need to meet again. So we set a conversation for the following week, and for the following week, and we realized that we're in crisis mode. And I gathered, it's not me, we gathered the best people the Jewish community has to offer. CEOs of all the JCCs, the regional directors of all those organizations, people who know the Jewish community, know operations, know how to work, big thinkers, they didn't need me to tell them what to do because nobody has an idea. But we realized that together we can come up with some good things we can do together, and that there is an importance of having one unanimous voice from the Jewish community of Long Island.
But why is it so important?
Your strength is in your numbers. It's different whether you put an ad in the paper representing one JCC or representing 30 synagogues, 25 organizations, and 200,000 Jews. It's that your strength is in numbers, and on Long Island we have numbers. So why not using that? But we just need to be able to do this small thing and be able to work together and have agreements. And we started to work in operational mode, and we started to do that. And we're lucky enough to learn from the best or from other people. So we looked behind our shoulders and looked at Westchester. We'd have the Westchester Jewish Council, that just like we formed after October 7, they were formed after the Yom Kippur War. We met Elliot, who is their CEO, and we realized A, a lot of the similarities between the regions. B, we tried to learn from them what we need to do and what the council does and what it looked like. And it took a while, but we started to build that. And then, as always, when there was success and when there were meaning, more organizations wanted to join. And we're able to support college kids and advertise better and put some ads in the news and show people that we stand with Israel, stand together, connect the synagogues. We're able to do meaningful things, learn more about one another. And with time it developed. And like any organization, we created a logo and a name and traditions and everything you need in order to build something. And a steering committee, to build that. And I'm very proud to say that today, 2.5 years later, we have 25 organizations who are part of it. I think almost any organization, Jewish organization, Long Island is part of this coalition. Working together, sharing resources, using the money they're getting for good, and have one voice from the Jewish community. And followed us. You saw collaboration of the rabbis. We're starting to work together, and collaboration from the educators. Realized they need to be together. So the vision is that we'll have 3 groups of all the people who really impacted Jewish life: educators, rabbis, organizations that will work separately but together in order to represent the Jewish community and to benefit our lives here and the life of the Jewish community here on Long Island.
I wonder if you think that this might be done even with your absence, or they needed someone that came from Israel to build a connection between Jews here.
I think I had 2 things going my way. The first is that Israel, again, we talked about the kibbutz, but also our governing system is all about coalition. Like everything we know is about working together. So I think this is one mindset that I had in mind. And in Israel, even in my previous job, you need to do something, you think about who the partner is going to do it with you. That's the mindset. The second thing is that I'm Israeli, so I'm a pushover. And I am not shy to push. And I think it was very important because in many ways, you moved people cheese around and you push people out of their silos, which they're not getting paid for, right? Any agency getting paid to do what this agency needs to do, not for supporting the Jewish community of Long Island. It's not a thing. So we need to show the importance of it. So I think those 2 things worked in my behalf. And after October 7, people were nice to me because I'm Israeli. And so they came. And I think once they came, they saw the benefits behind it. And I will say something a bit more maybe aspirational. On Long Island, Israel is a bridge. So Israel brought those communities together. It's not me, Dagan. Nobody cares about me, Dagan. It's me, the Shaliach for Israel. And once the conversation was more about Israel on Long Island, it's a bridge that connects 25 organizations together. It's a privilege because in other parts of the United States, it's the opposite. So I try to use, again, the assets and the tools I have and the situation on the ground to make it happen. And I wasn't alone. The best people on the island did it with me. But yeah, I think Israel was a very essential bridge in order for them to say, okay, everything we do, it's about Israel. So we're going.
Yeah, we have another mission. Like we have a shared mission.
It's bigger than that. But we have a shared mission. Like we have our own agency. Israel needs us. Again, it's in Long Island, so we're there.
Would you say this is the biggest project that you did in your 3 years term here? That you're most proud of?
Yeah. Again, one of, but definitely I think something that can change the way the island operates and show people that working together is beneficial for everyone. And I'm very proud that I was part of it when it started. I'm hoping that in 20 years we can tell our kids, when we started it back then. But it's a startup, but I'm very proud that I could be part of it and helped it grow as much as I could.
So, it's very hard to summarize 3 years, like an ongoing 3 years, right? Because a mission is, like a shlichut is not only from 9 to 5, it's basically 24/7, 3 years in a row. And so if you can mention one more project that you're very proud of that you got to do in this 3 years here, what would you also give me another example?
I will mention 2. I will just do it shortly. I think the first, overall, realize that Long Island is huge. You realize it very fast in this role, and you need more people on the ground. And one of the things we're able to do, again, thanks to October 7th, and I will say not thanks to, but thanks to our ability to use the needs that became from October 7th, is to bring 3 more junior shlichot, post-army service, for the community. And I think that when we talk about numbers and we want to impact as much people as we can, the fact that we have shlichot who own a JCC, like we're working in 4 out of the 5 JCCs, in the peripheries also, like I came from a periphery, so we decided that distances is not going to be an issue. So work in Friedberg and we work at Suffolk Y and own the communities and feel part of the communities and know the staff and can educate.
Can you explain what does it mean?
It means that you have a shlicha in a JCC. She's between 23 to 27, that works in all levels, in all ages, there almost every day, getting to know the staff. And again, a lot of our work is just be present and have conversation. And you bring Israel by introducing your family, by sharing stories that just happened last week, by sharing your concerns because things happen back home, and by just day-to-day conversations about the army and whatever.
Personal connections.
Personal connection. That's what we're here to do. So the fact that we have those 3 juniors who holds communities around them, I think it's super meaningful. And I want to thank, the JCCs and Route 1 and the Jewish Agency, the organization who are helping us made it happen, because I think this is where our impact is becoming that much bigger. So this is one thing. The second is that...
So just to close it up, so you said that you realize that in order to be more meaningful, you need to have someone that is a little bit more mature than a Shin, because at the end of the day, the Shin were more experienced than a Shin. And junior stays here for 2 years, so the connections are...
And the idea is invest in people and not in events. Like if you have a capital, you have money, invest it in the right people in the right places and not for necessarily events. Because once you have the right people in the right places, they will create a relationship. They will create a connection. They will create the impact in a very low budget, instead of taking all that budget and use it for one big celebration or 1 or 10 events. It's not giving the same.
So it was benefits. A strategy. So you understand that this is the strategy that you working.
Understand forward. That they will not have a lot of money to do something, but they will exist and they will find a way to make it work.
And connections are the most important thing, and you don't need money for connections.
Exactly.
You just need...
And they will find a way. There's other parts on the island that can support you, but it's not. I think it's something I'm going through on with my life, like invest in people and not in events necessarily.
Okay.
And the second thing is that, again, once we're here, I ultimately believe, and it's part of the juniors' role also, that when you want to talk about or educate about Israel, it's either bringing people to Israel, or bringing Israelis to the people. So shlichim is bringing Israelis to the people. But when you look around you in North America and the Jewish world, you see that many communities as a home in Israel, because they have a sister town in Israel, a partner town, that they can go there and they feel that they know them because they've been educated about them. They know people from there. Boston and Haifa, Tel Aviv and LA, Colorado and Sha'ar HaNegev, whatever. Yerucham and Miami. And the idea is that an American Jew, for example, when he go to Israel, saying all of Israel is my home is too big. He will have a place, he will feel like home because he knows the people, because we connect him to the community. And I think without that, you're missing a big part of finding a home in Israel. That is not just spiritual one. So we started a program called Project Israel. It wasn't my idea. It was Dina Schuster's idea, to connect the teens to Israel and to have in-depth education. But part of it, we connected with Kadima-Tzoran, which is a fellow community in Israel. And we started to do exchanges with our students and their students. And that's how we build meaningful relationships. That it's not based only on shlichim. You have families and kids from C. Jacobs from JCC going to Kadima-Tzoran every year. You have them coming to us every year. We're now going on over the next stage of a women's group going with Kadima-Tzoran for a joined week or joint weekend. But those relationships, what make people feel they're connected to this piece of land, that it's not just spiritual. It's like taking it to the way it would look like daily. And I think we're only in the beginning of it. 3 years, it's nothing. But the opportunities are huge. So I think starting this Sister Cities project is a super meaningful step. I started with thinking about Long Island as a city in Israel, but again, I think it's too hard. But it's a model you can duplicate in many agencies. And it's not about the money, again. It's about the people. And we now know that it's super meaningful. And in a few years, once you have Shinshinim from Kadima-Tzoran and junior shlichim from Kadima-Tzoran because they know Long Island, just imagine how it would look like.
How strong the connection would be.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that 3 years is only the beginning.
True.
Do you have programs that you started and they're gonna continue like next year?
Hopefully all of them. Like, again, 3 years, it's great to start new initiatives, but someone need to help them grow and sustain. So we strengthen collaboration with the day schools in Shechter and Merkaz. We have Project Israel. We strengthen collaboration with AJC, the LIFT program. We failed, but I'm hoping next year we'll succeed in going to the public schools and have an impact there. But there's always things to do. And again, Long Island is one of the best playgrounds for shlichim because the will is high, the need is high, and there's so much to do. So you just need to choose where you're going to focus your efforts and finding the partners who will work hand to hand with you. But again, we were privileged because unlike our colleagues, we didn't fight with the Jewish community. They were standing with us. So we could just, swim, but not against the current, with the current.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, so just to wrap it up, our 3 years term have come to an end.
In a month,
right? But it's not that there's not going to be a shaliach because then there's going to come another family, a new family, and a new shaliach, Rotem, that will, how do you say it? Not replace.
Fill his own shoes.
Yeah.
Do the job the way he's
get into the shaliach shoes, the 6th shaliach, new junior shlichot, new shinshinim, like the entire delegation really...
Renewal.
Everything's gonna renew. And we're gonna also soon wrap up this episode of us, unfortunately. And so I wanna ask you 2 questions to finish it. So first of all, after this very, very 3 amazing, meaningful years here in Long Island, what would you wish for the Long Island Jewish community for the future? And also, what do you, where do you see yourself? What do you wish for yourself and for us in the next chapter, going back to Israel?
Wow. Coming from my wife, it's hard.
Forget that I'm your wife, okay?
For the Long Island Jewish community, I don't think they need my wishes. It's an unbelievable community. I hope the coalition will continue and just be stronger than it is now, and will grow and grow. I hope the connection with Israel will stay as strong as it is, and they will keep advanced. I would just keep your eyes on the ball and on the challenge ahead, because life are challenging, and everything here is, a lot of things are challenging around us. So stay strong.
You know what? I want to change my last question. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to ask you, how do you summarize the shlichut, and what do you bring with you back home from here?
An unbelievable journey. And I think we gain people for life and amazing partners. And I got to learn a whole lot from all of my mentors and supervisors and people I worked with. So we'll sum it as a privilege. One of the honors of my life to be here as a shaliach in those 3 years, and I'm assuming you would feel the same.
Have you imagined it would be like that before we came here?
Never. But I think me and you are people who are taking things to the extreme and all the way. And Long Island became a home. And it's really one of the honors of my life and shaped me a lot of being here in the past 3 years. So I will summarize that. And taking back home, I kept saying when I was here that I think we're doing a great disservice to the Israeli community, that we're not educating at all about Jews of the diaspora in any way, other than World War II. And I think we're an obligation for me and you and all shlichim. It's a two-way street. And our mission is not over when we on the plane. Our mission is now to bring United States and Long Island to Israel and to our friends and our people. Put the Israeli cynicism aside and realize there's, David Black used to say, there's not them and us, they're just us. Realize that it really is the case. And people can criticize our government, but who cares? be one, and we cannot separate the two. But I think we have a lot of work to do it in the Israeli side. So this is what I'm taking with me, and this is an obligation I put upon ourselves. And I think this is the way to bring those two sides of the oceans more together. Currently, it's a one-side effort. It's only the Jewish community is outside of Israel educating their kids to support Israel. We're not educating our kids to be part of the Jewish world. And I think we have to start to do that. I keep saying that, like, when I ask Yarden, our daughter, like, why are we not celebrating Christmas? And she said, because I'm Jewish. Amazing. None of her friends in Israel will know to say that, because nobody talked about the fact that you're a Jew and you're part of a bigger thing than yourself.
Yeah, the privilege of being a Jew in the Jewish state has some down
nothing should
effect.
be taken for granted.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm taking with me, and the people and the experiences.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for this 3 years and everything that you did and we experienced together. And on this note, I want to thank you, our listeners, whoever watched this podcast today. Part of me being here is also because I'm your wife, and this is part of the shlichut, and this was part of the mission of, in a way, scaling a bit these connections that you're forming face-to-face into a more digital platform, I would say. So anyway, thank you, Dagan, for 3 years and for everything, and for being my husband. I don't know how to say it, like not being too cringe.
And I would say that you're right. This is one of our ways as shlichim to bring Israel to the community, and you're doing an unbelievable way. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Israeli Bond on HMTV. If you enjoyed this episode and the episode before, you're more than welcome to subscribe to the HMTV channel. Subscribe, like, share, and stay connected for more engaging conversations. And until next time, take care and be well.